St. Charles Parish maintains hundreds of miles of canals within our parish. Keeping these canals free and clear is crucial not only in hurricane season, but also in helping with normal and seasonal precipitation events as well. One tool our crews use to attend to these canals is a swamp buggy. Swamp buggies are a specialized off-road vehicle designed to navigate things like deep mud, standing water, and dense debris. The swamp buggies are a vital tool in clearing and maintaining the function and flow of our canals. Parish crews use the buggies in many ways. The buggies can be used as a mobile work platform in some of the parish's most rugged places. The vehicle provides an excellent workspace where workers can carry and use various tools in the unique conditions our canals present. This allows our crews to do all of the necessary maintenance to canals like removing debris, trimming vegetation, cleaning actual blockages, and ensuring water flows properly while not damaging the canal itself. And that's the 411 on canal cleaning.
Today we're on CC Road near Simbel Industries in Munce, Louisiana, and we are checking up on pump station progress and the progress that our public works crews are doing along CC Road. This canal along CC Road has always been an important drainage feature in this Munce watershed. The work that our crews are doing here today is more than cosmetic. It is to make sure that we have access and to make sure that we can keep these canals clean and flowing to those two brand new pump stations. The addition of the two pump stations, a $33 million investment, probably the largest investment in drainage ever in the history of Munce. Munce Pump Station number 1 and number 2 are coming along very well. I got a chance to visit those job sites and see the progress. In addition, the work behind me is really critical because after big storms, Hurricane Isaac was an example. Hurricane Ida was another example where trees fell in this canal and blocked it. There's no way of really knowing that these trees are in the canal unless you hip through the brush there and get in and physically see it. This will allow us to see from the road if there's any obstructions in here, and then it allows us to use normal equipment, a normal excavator, to get in and clean it out rather than getting a smaller marsh buggy or something and getting it placed inside the canal. So not only does it help us identify issues, it helps them clear.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, December 1st, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Council Chambers in the Parish Courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance from Pastor John Ponder with Life Assembly Church of God in Bootsy.
Amen. Let's recite the pledge together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's pray. Lord, I thank you today for this group of men and women that are gathered here today. Lord, I thank you for the wisdom that fills this room, Lord. I thank you for the life that you have breathed into us, God. Lord, your word says in James chapter 1 that if anyone lacks wisdom, they should ask of God, who gives generously to all people without finding fault, Lord. And I pray that today upon everyone that is in this room, Lord, that you would pour out your wisdom, godly wisdom, Lord, to make godly decisions. Lord, I pray that during this season, Lord, that you would continue to bless the families, Lord, the men, the women, the husband, the wife, the children that are represented here today, God. Thank you for planting us in this nation, Lord, where we get to make laws, Lord, and we get to live under, oh God, freedom. And Lord Jesus, today, as we stand here, as we breathe here today, Lord, let your wisdom flow with freedom in this room. Be a blessing to every family. Oh God, to every person, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you, Pastor Ponder. Approval of the minutes. A motion and a second are needed to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of November 17th, 2025. We have a motion by Councilman Carmardell, second by Councilwoman DeRouillet. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Councilwoman Skiba and Councilman Fisher will not be in attendance tonight. Special business, proclamations, canvas returns, etc. File number 2025-0361, proclamation, Toy and Gift Fund, Parish President Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Proclamation. Whereas many individuals in the community would like to share their material and monetary blessings with other individuals, and whereas through the years, many individuals, organizations, and agencies have assisted families in St. Charles Parish by means of a toy and gift fund. And whereas the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President recognize this fund as a very worthwhile community service, now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim December 13th, 2025 as Toy and Gift Fund Day in St. Charles Parish, and here to accept is Miss Jeannie Araby.
Good evening. I want to thank y'all for sponsoring this. It's a big event. Last year it was big. Hopefully we're going to see about 1,700 kids. That's what we're planning for. And we would love to see all y'all out there on the 13th. Starts at 9. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Araby. Reports, finance and administrative activities. File number 2025-0364, River Parish Transit Authority. We have received a request from the River Parish Transit Authority to defer their 2025 report to Monday, January 12th, 2026, that council meeting. File number 2025-0365, Department of Economic Development and Tourism, and we have Mr. Patrick Beard here to report.
How y'all doing, council members? Everybody hear me well? All right. So I appreciate y'all having me here. Appreciate the continued support of the collective goal to strengthen St. Charles Parish's business climate. Y'all know I'm only a few months in, but in the last 4 months since I've started, really taken quick learning of who the key industries are, the key businesses are, and start to work towards past developing those relationships and into kind of the next step, right? And so we'll start with the departmental overview, go into St. Charles Parish economy, and then what's ahead in 2026. What changes do we see now that I've got my feet firmly on the ground here? And so we'll start with the current department chart, which is probably the leanest, I would assume. Maybe there's another department out there that only has 2 staff members. I'm not sure. But we are working to grow that as well, and we'll get to that at the end. But we have a market development research assistant and administrative assistant, and I, of course, report up to Samantha, our deputy CAO, and, of course, the president, Jewel, and residents after that. So let's start, instead of what's my department, let's start with what's economic development, right? And when you look at the definition of economic development, it really is as simple as improving the quality of life through creation of jobs and a stable and hopefully growing tax base, right? And that's a kind of academic way of saying ultimately it's a revenue strategy for the community. We're trying to grow not just an abstract theory, right? Not just academic side of it, but to really grow the revenue of the parishes, of the parish, but also of the residents here. And we do that through the additional tax dollars from business investment and the additional jobs that come from business investment. So ultimately, my job really is to attract business investment. And the 3 classic legs, the 3 classic core functions of economic development are business retention, expansion, and attraction. In retention, of course, we're going to keep the businesses operating. Expansion, grow their investment. And in attraction, bring the new businesses in to diversify the economy and add new tax revenues and new job opportunities. We have seen a lot of all 3 of this happening very well for decades in St. Charles Parish, and we want to continue to see that. And this is going to remain the core function of economic development. It's retaining, expanding, and growing new businesses within the parish. But beyond that, we also have these other functions which serve the community and grow the quality of life by growing the quality of the business environment. And to the same end as retention, expansion, and attraction, we have workforce partnerships and entrepreneurial support. And in the workforce partnerships, we're looking to actually partner with groups that we have been already, but maybe a little bit more directly with like River Parish's Workforce Development Board, River Parish's Community College, the school system, and workforce agencies, regional universities like Nichols, of course, and Southeastern, who has increasingly taken more of a similar type of industrial training approach, and get them a bit more involved in that, because when you move into our economy, you'll see pretty quickly why we need to get on some workforce training as well. So what I find very interesting when I look at this graph, or this table here, we have the 8th largest economy as a parish in the state by GDP. So our gross domestic product is larger than 56 other parishes in this state. That is tremendous. And we're doing it with the 21st largest population. There is only one other parish that is not a top 10 ranked population that's in the top 10 on the economy, and that would be Ascension, which is, frankly, our most comparable parish to us, economically speaking. It has very similar industries supporting its base. It a bit different than us in that it's only got 55% of its tax base actually coming out of industry. I was surprised to hear that recently. It's far lower coming out of industry relative to our 90%, as we commonly know. But I heard that from their economic development director a few weeks ago. And when you look at it, though, that I find really interesting, this really means, if you just do the simple calculation, we have about 50,000, 52,000 residents. Ascension Parish is about 130,000 residents. You just divide our GDP by our number of residents, and that includes every man, woman, and child. That is not every productive workforce member necessarily, right? And we're producing $210,000 per resident in St. Charles Parish in gross domestic product, and Ascension is producing $80,000 per resident in GDP. So that is why we are able to invest so much into our schools and into our police and into our roads and into our drainage. And I know that's a tremendous part of it, of what our capital projects are going towards now. And that's coming from the economic development that I'm not taking credit for, not only because I've only been here 4 months, but I'm also saying that a lot of it may happen without our support, but it definitely has a higher chance of happening with more open business environment and more opportunities for these residents to earn higher wages and grow in their quality of life. So when you look at our demographics, I mean, this is incredible. This is some of the highest wage figures in the state, and in some regards, you know, there's actually only one parish that has a higher average wages per employee, and that is Cameron Parish, which only has 5,000 residents. And so it's a bit difficult when you start looking at averages and you only have 5,000 residents to look at. But with an average household income and average wages per employee around $100,000, there are many parishes that are very jealous of us for that. Many parishes have 1/3 or 1/2 of that, and that comes from our solid economic base here. And of course, our economic base largely is industrial partners and employers. It's, not entirely, right? But the majority of our taxes and our jobs come from these businesses. And when you look at this map and you really start to dig into it, y'all are familiar. You know people who work there. You know people who have worked there. Your family did. You did, right? And I think that's a testament to the impacts they're having within our community. We currently have around $15 billion in projects going on in this parish. These are only announced projects. Now, they're in various stages of the process, but when you add all of the planned investment up, and this is not including the ones that we're actively pursuing, which would grow this number still pretty significantly. These are projects in the works. Some of them are connected to each other, right? As we know, there are some new industries that are developing within our community that are connected to the growth of others. And we want to see that economic development happen. I mean, 15 billion and over 500 jobs, and 500 is a modest number because they don't have to put the number of jobs anymore on their applications for like ITEP and different things. And so it's hard to get a firm grasp on the number of jobs, but I have a feeling it's much more than 500 when this is all done. It's quite significant. More evidence of a strong economy is a low unemployment rate, 3.7%, below the state average of 4.2%. Now, these numbers are going back to the end of 2024. It's hard to get mid-year numbers and to keep everything consistent. I just kept everything to the end of 2024 throughout the presentation. But it is about the same right now. I think it was 3.6, 3.8. It goes back and forth in that area. But when you do the quick math on it, well, actually, let me go one more further. A bit dated of a graph, a little more than a year ago. But when you look at it, 3.7%, when you compare that regionally and compare that across the state, there are very few parishes that have such a low unemployment rate. Another testament to our strong economy. This graph can look like a lot at first, but if we just look at the green line for a moment, that is the unemployed number of population in our parish. These are people who are looking for jobs and don't have them, not people who are not looking for a job, right, necessarily, or disabled or retired or whatever the case may be. So when you look at the numbers and you look at that graph, you can see, we all know the spikes and the valleys with Hurricane Katrina and the 2008 financial crisis and COVID in 2020. But when you look at our unemployment numbers now, at most, we're still under 1,000 people today unemployed in this parish. When you go back and we just look at projects that are currently announced at $15 billion and over 500 jobs, it becomes challenging to fill that with the 900 people who are currently unemployed, right? And so I think that's going to be a part of, that's why we bring up the workforce development side of it and making sure that we have the resources available to our residents so that as many of those jobs as possible go into our parish residents. But it's possible if we get a big win, if we get another Shell, if we get another Valero or another Dow or something major coming in to the market here and they employ more than 1,000 people, we don't have that many people unemployed in this parish. So it's going to become important to see the economic growth continue, that we grow our workforce long term, right? And when you look at our taxable sales, it's estimated about 70% of these are industrial sales, including construction expenses. So what we're really seeing in the taxable sales here is these are just raw numbers of the dollars that are being spent. This is not the tax revenues. This is showing 2.4 billion is the most recent number for 2024 as far as how much was spent. In the last 3 years, you're seeing a similar number, and even 4 years ago and onward, you're seeing the climbing aspect of it. And going back to at least 2010, this is by far, we are at the highest amount of taxable sales. It's an indication of investment, right? We're seeing, when we see taxable sales, think in terms of construction. This is Bungie, this is Valero's expansion coming along, this is turnarounds. This is where they're spending money that is taxed. And that is major to see, because that's a huge source of revenue for the parish. All right, and so for the department overall, it's pretty simple. We've started with 2. We're hoping to make it 3 pretty quickly. The focus has always been and continues to be on business retention, expansion, and attraction. But beyond that, we want to be able to serve those businesses which are not necessarily going to bring us huge tax and job gains, right? That's just the reality of not every business will. And in order to best serve those mostly business owners. I mean, we keep building entrepreneurs through our schools and through our just culture in this space. I've come to learn, and there's actually multiple billionaires who, if you follow it back, they have a tie-in to St. Charles Parish. And I think we want to continue to foster that and see that growth happen. And one thing we have our administrative assistant retiring at the end of this year, so just the next few weeks. And so we'll have that position open, and I'll be replacing that one, that role that is. And then our business engagement specialist, that is a new role that we're rolling out. We're going to Civil Service Commission next week on it to hopefully get approval to hire this position. And it will be focused as a one-stop shop, supporting businesses and really being the hands-on connection between the business world and local government, and even not just local government, but also utilities, Entergy, and everybody else as well. So if they have a problem, if there's a concern, they have someone to go to, and we can walk them along and be that one-stop shop to serve the business community. And we're really looking forward to that role. I think that's going to be a strong focus of 2026. Because we are increasing our support of small and local businesses. And to that end, next week, I have a meet and greet on December 9th, next Tuesday. And this is a quick meeting, hour and a half, where it's an opportunity for any business owner or business manager or just any resident, whoever wants to come in, meet myself as the Director of Economic Development, hopefully not just be that new guy. And if they want to come talk to me and understand that we actually are here, there is a channel to communicate with us. We're not just nameless, faceless government workers, right? We are people. We're here to serve our residents and our businesses in the community. And that is what we'll be discussing next week. And also those resources for those businesses, which come at first through allied relationships. Put in other words, other people's money and other people's resources, right? There are a lot of organizations with support services for business, and we're going to lean into them, and we're going to demand those services. There's a lot of the kind of feeling of, hey, St. Charles Parish is doing great. What help do they need? And we're going to say, well, if you're offering it, we'll take it. And so we are going to be in front of LED, G&O Inc., Entergy, Port of South Louisiana, South Central Planning Development, all these other groups to ask and receive the services for our businesses and for our residents here. And that is going to be elevating our position, St. Charles Parish's influence on those policies and on those incentives programs, and also positioning our businesses to receive those resources. So I very much appreciate the opportunity to discuss. Oh, yeah, I'll go straight to off. I very much appreciate the opportunity to discuss this and welcome any questions you may have.
Councilwoman DeBruyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know as a resident of St. Charles Parish, you've witnessed what most of us have witnessed, and that's, some of our small businesses coming and going relatively quickly sometimes
Yes.
before we even know that they're in trouble. Do this new position that you're talking about, and it sounds like it's going to be very supportive for those people, but I think a lot of small businesses they don't tell us when they're having trouble or what they're struggling with. So are there plans to be more proactive rather than reactive as far as supporting those, and like what kinds of things are we looking at?
I really appreciate that. Yes, I would say in a broad stroke, we've already realized the same thing. I've got to get off of Facebook because I keep seeing about every single restaurant that opens and then closes within a year, and it's always, it's the parish, it's fire department, it's whatever it is, right? And I think a lot of what we need to do is message out there more clearly what people see the $100,000 a year incomes, and they think, well, how could it not work if I open my business here? And it'll only work if those households are spending their money at those businesses. And so there's a lot we could be doing to support that and helping to communicate it. We already have been, right, with Small Business Sundays and everything else, where we're getting that message out and supporting those businesses. But I do think we'll have to be more proactive. We're going to have to survey more, form more relationships. And I think at the end of the day, that's what it is. We've got to form a relationship, even if it's with the department, right? That's what we really are trying to get. It's not Patrick Beard. It's not whoever the business engagement specialist, which that's the civil service term. It's more like a business concierge, right? It's not that person's relationship per se. It's with the parish government and knowing that we're there to support and we're a backstop, not necessarily financially, but in our expertise and our resources that we can help them with. Yeah, so I appreciate that. And
Thank you.
Yep.
Because people that I've worked on developing some relationships with some of these business owners, they just don't know oftentimes.
Yep.
And sometimes it's a matter of, social media and, design, photographs, things like that, as well as other things that I'm sure, you have some expertise on that can be very supportive to those people. But again, they don't know what they don't know. So it's a matter of being proactive with them. And I appreciate y'all working on that. Thank you.
yeah, I appreciate that as well. And one other point on it is our public information office is incredible. We've got a great resource with that. We have multiple departments that I work with within the parish to support our mission. And that's one of the, I think, creative and kind of interesting things about this organization, how it's set up. There is a lot of cross-departmental support, and PIO is probably the number one, or the Public Information Office is probably the number one place that we can work with a little bit more closely to perhaps that mission, push that mission a little bit further. Thank you.
Parish President Jewell.
Thank you, and Michelle, to your point, I agree. When I first came in over the course of the last couple of years, we've surveyed a lot of our businesses. A lot of them don't want to be contacted. There are some that do, and we want to start reaching out to those folks more, just checking in, seeing how they're going, seeing what we could do within our means to be able to help them. But with this new position, I think it's going to be the relationship building on the front end that makes a difference. So a lot of them, what we're going to do is try to steer them to economic development first. A lot of them are going to go straight to Michael Albert over in planning and zoning and want to apply for their permits to build their building. And that's where we're going to catch a lot of people, and his team is going to connect them with the economic development office and with this liaison, this concierge who's going to help them. So the way I see it is when someone comes and they want to build a building, right? They want to invest in our parish or bring in jobs. They apply through Michael's office, and then Michael sends that permit out. His office has an aspect that they have to review, but then some goes to public works, some goes to wastewater, some goes to waterworks. And all of those folks are doing their jobs and may not have that economic development focus in mind, and they obviously have other things to do as well. And so this concierge is going to be making sure to be tracking that permit through the process, pinging those departments where that might be lagging behind, and getting that keeping that permit moving. And so I think that's where the relationship is going to be developed with Patrick's office. And as that business gets established, they build, they start being able to stay in touch with them through that. So I think this is it's really a long-term project. We still are going to be proactive about reaching out to existing businesses. And then maybe sometimes it's a conversation when they come in to say, hey, I have this idea, I want to do that. And you sit back and you say, as Patrick might look and say, hey, that's great. Want to let you know what's already there. Just make sure you're aware of the existing business climate. And, Patrick's a real estate guy. He can help speak that lingo as well and give whatever solicited advice that they might want. But I think really what this concierge is going to help us build those relationships, because it's like, this is going to be my guy as someone who may not know everything about how to open a business, right? As a average citizen might have just an idea. They want to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to meet this guy or this gal, and they're going to help me through this process, and that's going to help me develop that relationship with the parish on the front end. And I think that's what we were lacking before.
Councilman Pillier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I recall the lady with Squeezy Fresh had contacted me, and I immediately passed her on to you to see if you could help her out. Is there anything that we've been able to do to advance their business, to take care of the types of connections she was looking for with the school or whatever? Yeah. I know she's still open, which is good.
I appreciate that, and she's herself a product of, a participant in Shell's program, the Livewire program, right? So it's an industry partner that helped her get started in that business as well. So since you reached out to me, with her, we had assistance with connecting with a small business. I'm sorry, South Central Planning and Development Commission, because they have 4% interest up to $500,000 loans for businesses in our community. That's one of the greatest resources I'll be pushing to our businesses here, and those especially are impactful for those businesses that have, those let's say young credit or poor credit issues, or have an inability to receive financing in a traditional sense. I mean, 4% interest, $500,000 loan is tremendous. And so we did connect her with that. I don't know if she's moving forward. Well, I can say this. I'm on the loan committee for South Central Planning and Development as well, and it's not come across my desk yet. So I will follow up to see if she's got any more interest in that side. I also did connect her with the schools to see if there was an opportunity. I did not pursue further than making the connection, and that's where that new role will not stop the process, right? They're going to pursue further with those connections. And the third was that she had issues with her building maintenance as a tenant, right? And I did work with Michael Albert and our team to understand what we could do as a government agency, right? In that sense, to support it. And there's not much, unfortunately. Private property rights and all. There's no code violations. It's the short version of it. So we did try to solve, and we communicated every one of those back to her. So she, that's a good example of the type of business we would love to support and see grow. And I think if we see a for lease sign on her business in the future, it would be a shame for sure. And so we're going to pursue that.
Patrick, I appreciate you jumping right on that, and I wish that lady well and her daughter. So we hope it'll be good for her. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll call her tomorrow. So.
Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Yes, Patrick, I'm looking forward to seeing how your department works with the tourism aspect of it. I think a lot of the feedback we get is, there's the restaurants or things don't thrive, but from part of it is we just don't have like a concentrated area for people to actually gather. It's happening, but I like to see that, maybe some entrepreneurs that have ideas to pull that together so that St. Charles Parish can be somewhat of a destination.
Yes.
I have a another place in St. Francisville, and it's literally only a block and a half, but it became a destination for people to come from all over, and it's mobbed. So eventually, we know industry finds this attractive for a variety of reasons, including the fact that we have the Mississippi River here. So that's part of it. But the other part, quality of life part, I'm looking forward to seeing where your department goes with that. It'll be exciting. Thank you.
I appreciate that. We've tourism is one where we've started in saying, what are we and what are we not, right? To start, and we're not New Orleans. You know, we're not. We are. A lot of our tourism, like the Destrehan Plantation, for example, is driven by people who visit New Orleans. They're in New Orleans, and then they come out to see the plantation. They come out to see that experience, and that's part of what they consider that New Orleans area experience. And so we're working actively with Destrehan Plantation and meeting with them. Last week, we're meeting with them again next week to discuss opportunities to grow that market. And beyond just that one kind of stalwart, everybody knows our major tourist attraction of Destrehan Plantation, moving more into, well, what creative avenues can we take to help in branding and then help in that creation of a that's other space. So in the newspaper, I don't remember, last few days ago, I saw Gator Town. I don't know, I'm not sure if y'all saw that. In West Wego, they branded an area Gator Town right behind the fish markets as it leads into Bayou Sine, where they have their airboats for the Cajun tours and all that, right? And just think of that as using that as an inspiration to think, well, maybe there's some opportunities for us to lean into some of that. Not necessarily Gator Town, right? We can't copy it, but
and it takes years. I thought
That's
it was.
right.
I've lived in. I mean, had both places for about the same amount of time, but I thought it was a little ridiculous, some of the festivals and things that they did. But with repetition, you get repeats, and then all of a sudden it'll pop with the right anchor, like you said. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Patrick did a very nice presentation for your first one. I was thinking, as Councilwoman O'Daniels was talking about tourism, that's the other aspect of your job. So maybe next year you can add something about tourism, some information in your report.
Yes, I agree with that. I will.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right, file number 2025-0366, Parish President's Remarks and Report.
Okay, first up, we have the Ormond Jack and Boar groundbreaking. We were asking all of you and our residents who are in the area to join us for the groundbreaking for the Ormond Jack and Boar project. Council members in the Office of the Louisiana Community Development will be there to help celebrate this project, which has been a long time coming. These improvements will increase the number of culverts that pass under the railroad tracks, open drainage pathways, and allow for water to flow more efficiently to our pump station north over there to Destrehan 2. This is going to help us reduce significant flood risk on the south side of the railroad tracks. The groundbreaking ceremony is going to be at 9 a.m. on Tuesday in the Crescent Title parking lot at number 12 Storehouse Lane in Destrehan. So please join us. Walter, I know you'll be there. All right. CC Road clearing. If you've had an opportunity to get on CC Road, which you might not have because it's closed, but since it's been closed, we've been taking the opportunity to clear overgrowth and trees along the CC Road Canal. This has always been a critical drainage feature within months, but it's even more critical now that our pump stations are going to be pulling from this canal and discharging into the spillway. Over the course of several years, or looks like decades from the size of the trees, we've had to put machines inside of the canal and work from within the canal, specialized equipment like marsh buggies, and we've taken dirt out of the canal and placed it on the side. So we decided to go in, and I'll tell you, after several storms, trees had fallen within the canals, like after Hurricane Ida, Isaac, in a previous administration. Trees fell in the canal, and it was hard to tell if there was actual blockages because the canopy of trees surrounding the canal was so significant. So you really had to get in and with machinery to inspect us. inspect the canal. This is going to allow us to work much more easily along this canal. It's going to give us the opportunity to widen and lay down some of the slopes on that canal because we have a lot of space to work with now. We're taking the additional dirt that had been stacked up on the side for years and using it to level out all of the shoulder along CC Road on the canal side. So want to say thanks to our drainage crews for going out there and doing all the clearing and grubbing and spreading of dirt to get that looking good. And it really is a night and day difference when you go down there. It doesn't even look like the same road. Okay. Work at months 1 and months 2 is well underway. It's moving along quite well. On Wednesday, we were able to reopen CC Road to traffic. Now that the sheets along the road have been installed, there will be some additional closures as we get to certain milestones in this project. But the wing walls at months number 1 are now in place, and they're going to provide stabilization to the sump and are going to support the pumps that are going to be discharging into the station. So on the right hand side, you can see that's months number 2. The geotechnical came back a little bit differently there, so that was additional batter piles and plumb piles that had to be installed behind the sheet pile wall to support it. And these pilings are driven to like a negative 100 depth, pretty deep down in there that they're going. So very robust and a significant additional cost at that station compared to months number 1. Okay. Our EOC staff and emergency responders from the school system, police, fire, EMS, and parish departments recently participated in our biannual drill for Waterford 3. FEMA comes in and works with DEQ, and they grade us on how we handle a proposed nuclear scenario. This is required by the NRC that we have this every 2 years. The team worked really well together. And we won't have our official ratings back for a while, but the scoring team remarked at how well all of our agencies in the room work together. And they said that they go and do this all over the country and that we did exceptionally well. All right. Patrick mentioned this earlier in his presentation, but they do have a meet and greet for him from 8:30 to 10 o'clock a.m. at the River Parishes Community College in Booty. This is for business owners or prospective business owners to meet our economic development team and learn about the initiatives that St. Charles Parish has access to, and to just support and grow our small and local businesses. If you're interested, we do want you to RSVP to ECONDEV at stcharlesgov.net. Okay, the Toy and Gift Fund this year's Toy and Gift Fund will be held Saturday, December 13th at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. All St. Charles Parish children from ages 0 to 14 can come and visit Santa's workshop, pick out a toy or two, and parents and guardians must attend with their children in their care and show proof of residency to participate. So they will be checking IDs at the door. This event is always such a wonderful day. We want to thank our sponsors and Valero, United Way, everybody who makes that event possible each year for our families. Okay, the Norco Christmas Parade is going to be coming up on December 7th on its traditional route. It's going to be 1 o'clock on Sunday, December 7th. The theme is Norco Noel. Santa celebrates Norco's 100 years. Our Public Works team is working and has already installed lights and banners on utility poles and down the street, and will work later this week to have barricades and other crowd control in place. And then you don't want to miss it. Santa always arrives in fashion on the levee, and we look forward to everybody coming out and enjoying a great parade. Last but certainly not least, I do want to mention that I did pass out our 2026 construction projects. This is everything that is either completed, currently under construction, or that we is out to bid and will be bid in this year. I think Ormond drainage improvements bids tomorrow, and then was that one extended by a week as well?
The sewer project will bid tomorrow, and then the
Primrose Canal.
Primrose Canal will bid in a week from tomorrow.
So all total, these projects represent $59,390,520 of projects for 2025, and that'll obviously depend on what Primrose comes back. Hopefully it's lower. But at its current projection, that's what our investment has been. So about $60 million in capital improvements. That is just drainage, roads, pump stations, and recreation. We are going to bring you a similar capital projects list like this for all of the wastewater projects that have been completed in 2025, and then we will have a proposed 2026 capital projects list as well, just so you will know what to expect in 2026.
Thank you, Parish President Jewell. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, December 15, 2025 at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers in the courthouse in Hornville. File number 2025-0356, file number 2025-0362. There has been a request from the administration to postpone indefinitely from introduction file number 2025-0362. So I'll need a motion and a second to postpone indefinitely from introduction file number 2025-0362. And I have a motion by Councilman Pillier, second by Councilwoman O'Daniels. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Additional files introduced are file number 2025-0363, file number 2025-0369, file number 2025-0371, file number 2025-0372, file number 2025-0373, file number 2025-0374, file number 2025-0375, file number 2025-0376, file number 2025-0359, and file number 2025-0367. Planning and zoning petitions. File number 2025-0358, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from R1AM to M1 on property designated as Lot G, Block 11, Almedia Plantation, 180 Almedia Road, St. Rose, as requested by Karen Abate. File number 2025-0, Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant's requesting a rezoning from single-family residential with manufactured homes to light manufacturing. The department, as well as the Planning Commission, recommended denial, finding that it met none of the three criteria. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. File number 2025-0358 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Yes, this matter is in my district, and for people who aren't familiar with Almedia Road is mostly M1. At this property is kind of a pivot between M1 properties and residential. There's a small pocket of residential, long-standing residential property there, and with regard to trying to upzone this particular property next to that residential, the neighbors do not agree, and I think it's a good idea to keep that buffer between M1 and the residential. Unfortunately, the lady that has the property would like to make it income producing. However, she is able to have a trailer on that property and have a rental there if she so chooses. However, M1 is just entirely too heavy for being next door to housing in that area. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other council discussion? All right, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0358. And that fails unanimously. Ordinance is scheduled for public hearing introduced at the previous meeting. File number 2025-0341, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of change order number 1 final for the Phase 3 water main replacement in the Bonnet Spillway, project number WWKS 105, to decrease the contract amount by $35,294. Mr. Gordon.
Hello, members of the council. Greg Gordon, Director, Department of Waterworks. Just presenting this as it states after all was said and done with that project, and we added up all of the amounts. We were able to decrease the contract amount by $35,294. So save some money.
All right. File number 2025-0341 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Okay, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0341. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0342, an ordinance adopting the St. Charles Parish Council Road and Bridges capital program budget for fiscal year 2026 through 2028 in accordance with the Parish Transportation Act. Mr. Dusel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As stated, this is our Roads and Bridges capital program budget. The Parish Transportation Act provides us with $500,000 a year for our road maintenance program. But since they require a 3-year budget and we only adopt a 1-year budget, we have to do this to be in compliance and receive our $500,000. So basically, we're taking our 2026 approved budget, which is a total of $1.5 million, with $500,000 being the grant and $1 million being in the paved streets budget, and we simply just put $500,000 for the next 2 years.
All right, thank you. File number 2025-0342 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Okay, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0342. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0351, an ordinance to provide for the installation of an all-way stop sign at the end of Petrie Street in the Fairfield Oaks Plantation subdivision in St. Rose. Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Yes, this is actually in a subdivision, and for some reason, and I've never been able to figure out why, it has a 90-degree angle. There is no stop sign. So Public Works has tried different things. In the past, they had a stop sign, then they had a yield sign, and now they have nothing. And this is becoming a problem because people are just flying around the corner, and there's kids in the street and things like that. So I was asked by several of the residents to get a stop sign in this area, reinstitute the stop sign in this area. So I appreciate your support. Thank you.
All right. File number 2025-0351 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Please cast your votes for file number 2025-0351. And that passes unanimously. Appointments. File number 2025-0329, and a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 2 representative. And Councilwoman Skiba is not here tonight, so we're going to defer this one until the next meeting. File number 2025-0330, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 4 representative. And council will confirm the nomination to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment from the District 4 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Clyde H. Maddox. It's a 4-year term to begin December 7th, 2025 and expire December 7th, 2029. The nominee is Mr. Clyde H. Maddox. Please cast your vote to confirm the appointment of Mr. Clyde H. Maddox to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 4 representative. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0331, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 5 representative. The council will confirm nomination to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment from the District 5 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Dwayne E. Harris. It's a 4-year term to begin December 7th, 2025 and expire December 7th, 2029. The nominee is Mr. John T. Lambert. Please cast your vote to confirm the appointment of Mr. John T. Lambert to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 5 representative. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0332, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 6 representative. The council will confirm nomination to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment from the District 6 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. David P. Bleakley. It's a 4-year term to begin December 7th, 2025 and expire December 7th, 2029. The nominee is Mr. David P. Bleakley. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Mr. David P. Bleakley to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 6 representative. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0352, Council ex officio appointment to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority. Council chairman will accept nominations to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Councilwoman Michelle DeBrouillet. Council ex officio appointment. It's a 1-year term to begin January 9th, 2026 and expire January 9th, 2027. Are there any nominations? Councilman Commerdale.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to nominate Councilwoman Michelle DeBrouillet.
All right, thank you. We have Councilman Commerdale nominated Councilwoman DeBrouillet. Are there any other nominations? All right, seeing none. I need a motion and a second to close the nominations. We have a motion by Councilman Pillier, a second by Councilwoman O'Daniels. Please cast your vote to close the nominations. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0360, a resolution appointing a member to the South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority Board. On Monday, December 15th, 2025, the council chairman will accept nominations to the South Central, tongue-tied tonight, Human Services Authority Board to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Barbara Fuselier in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 913.4. The board shall be comprised of 9 members, 1 resident from the parish of St. Charles to be appointed by the parish council for a 3-year term to begin immediately and expire January 1st, 2029. Meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meetings. The Hospital Service District Number 1 will meet Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025 at 2 p.m. in the council chambers. The Planning and Zoning Commission will meet Thursday, December 4th at 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. The Communications District 911 will meet Monday, December 8th, 2025, 5 p.m. in the council chambers. Coastal Zone Advisory Committee will meet Tuesday, December 9th, 2025 at 12 p.m. in the council chambers. The Civil Service Board will meet Tuesday, December 9th at 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers. The Community Action Advisory Board will meet Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 at 12 p.m. The Booty Outreach Mount Zion Community Church at 107 Magnolia Ridge Road in Booty. The Lafourche Basin Levee District will meet Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Lafourche Basin Levee District Office, 21380 Highway 20 in Vacherie. The Pontchartrain Levee District will meet Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Punch Train Levy District Headquarters Complex, 2069 Railroad Avenue in Letcher. The St. Charles Parish Council will meet again on Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Announcements. The Norco Christmas Parade will be held Sunday, December 7th at 1 p.m. in Norco. Christmas tree lighting ceremony will be held Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. at the LaFawn Performing Arts Center in Luling. Special matters to be considered by the council. File number 2025-0353. Adopt the 2026 Parish Council meeting schedule. Okay, would anyone like to make an amendment to the Parish Council meeting schedule? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go to public hearing. File number 2025-0353. Did I? I thought it would be on here. Okay. I did have an amendment that I'd like to propose, and it's to move the July 6th meeting to July 13th, so that if council members are out of town for that long weekend, they can have the long weekend without having to return for the council meeting. So we're going to need a motion and a second to make that one change. We have a motion by Councilman Commerdale, a second by Councilwoman O'Daniels. And I need to go to public hearing on that amendment. So the amendment again is to move the July 6th meeting date to July 13th. So file number 2025-0353 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Okay, please cast your votes to amend the schedule next year as indicated. All right, that amendment passes unanimously. Do we open up for public comment as amended? Right. All right. Oh, gotcha. So the amendment to file number 2025-0353 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, public comment is closed. Please cast your votes on the amendment. Thank you. Completely slipped my mind. And that passes unanimously. All right. All right, file number 2025-0354. Confirm nomination of the presiding officer for 2026 chairman of the St. Charles Parish Council. The nominee is Councilman Walter Pillier. File number 2025-0354 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, any council discussion? Public comment is closed. Any council discussion? All right, seeing none, please cast your vote to confirm Councilman Walter Pillier as council chairman for 2026. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0355, confirm nomination, presiding officer for 2026 vice chairman of the St. Charles Parish Council. The nominee is Councilwoman Michelle DeBrouillet. File number 2025-0355 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote to confirm Councilwoman Michelle DeBrouillet as council vice chairman for 2026. And that passes unanimously. Adjournment. A motion and a second are needed to adjourn. I have a motion by Councilman Commerdale, a second by Councilwoman Wilson. Please cast your votes to adjourn. Michelle. She did? Okay. All right, and that passes unanimously. Have a great evening. We are officially adjourned. Slow.